When you first pick up a controller to play this game, it quickly becomes clear this isn't just another action title where you can mash buttons and hope for the best. Every encounter demands razor-sharp focus. The core of the experience revolves around a combat system built almost entirely around precision.
You're not just blocking attacks.
You're timing deflections down to the fraction of a second, waiting for the perfect moment to turn an enemy's aggression back on them. It's almost like an elaborate dance. Each opponent has a set of moves designed to punish any hesitation or sloppy input. The result is a tension that keeps you locked in, palms sweaty, heart racing. One of the most satisfying mechanics here is the posture system. Instead of simply draining a health bar, you wear down your enemy's composure. Through relentless pressure and perfectly timed parries, it creates a constant push and pull. You can't play passively. If you hang back too long, the posture gauge recovers, and you lose all the progress you fought so hard to build up. So you're encouraged to take risks to get in close and keep up the offensive. The risk-reward balance is beautifully tuned. This is what sets it apart from other modern action games that often allow you to play it safe, behind a shield or kite enemies from a distance. Here, you're forced to commit. What's remarkable is how this style of combat recreates the same feelings I used to have playing retro titles. Back then, you'd face bosses that demanded you learn patterns, memorize attack sequences, and react at just the right moment. Games didn't hold your hand. They demanded respect, patience, and skill. This is the same sensation that pulses through every duel, except here it's wrapped in a modern presentation, with cinematic camera work and breathtaking art direction. But strip away the graphics and polish, and you're left with something that feels timeless. Each boss is like a final exam. You spend dozens of tries, failing, analyzing, and adapting. You notice tiny tells in their movement, subtle shifts in posture that hint at what's coming next.
Eventually it clicks.
You start anticipating every swing. You know exactly when to deflect, when to sidestep, and when to counterattack. That moment when you finally break their posture and land, a death blow feels like pure triumph. It's the same victorious adrenaline rush that made old-school games so addictive. It's proof that no matter how much technology advances, there's still nothing quite like overcoming a challenge through skill and determination. What elevates the entire experience is how each mechanic layers on top of the last.
You're not only mastering parries and posture breaks.
You also have to weave in tools like the Mikiri Counter, which punishes thrust attacks with a devastating counterblow. Learning to read when an enemy is about to commit to a thrust instead of a sweep becomes second nature over time. But in the beginning it feels impossible. You see a red kanji warning flash on screen, and your instincts scream to dodge or block. Yet the real solution is counterintuitive. You're supposed to step directly into the attack to counter it. That kind of design forces you to rewire your reflexes. It's the perfect example of how this game demands you unlearn bad habits from other titles. Another layer comes from the perilous attacks. Some enemies will mix in sweeps that can only be avoided by jumping, or grabs that require a precise dodge. If you fail to recognize which move is coming, the punishment is severe. But that's what makes each encounter so engrossing. You can never check out mentally. Even low-tier enemies can kill you if you get sloppy. Every single fight becomes a puzzle you solve with observation and timing. It's a feeling that echoes the boss. Gauntlets in retro.
Platformers and beat-em-ups.
Back then, every level felt like a trial run for the boss waiting at the end, and you had to internalize patterns to survive. The sheer variety of combat scenarios also keeps you from getting complacent. One minute you're dueling a samurai in a snowy courtyard, trading deflects in a tight rhythm. The next you're grappling across rooftops to gain the advantage over a spear-wielding general. The environment is more than a backdrop. It's a tool that can help or hinder you. Some arenas are cramped, forcing you to adapt your spacing. Others give you more room to maneuver, but also more angles for enemies to attack from. This dynamic terrain feels straight out of classic games that tested your ability to adapt on the fly. What stands out most is how failure never feels cheap. When you die, you can almost always pinpoint exactly what you did wrong. Maybe you mistimed a deflect or panicked and tried to heal at the wrong moment. That clarity is rare in modern games. A lot of titles muddy the feedback loop with random damage or unpredictable mechanics. Here, it's always clean and precise. If you lose, you know you need to improve. That loop of trial and error, learning and refining, is exactly what made retro games so satisfying to master. What truly cements this experience as special is the way it respects the player's intelligence. There are no elaborate tutorials holding your hand through every step. Instead, you're given a basic set of tools, and it's up to you to figure out how to wield them effectively. That sense of discovery, of gradually understanding the combat's nuances,
Felt exactly like diving into an old cartridge.
game with only a slim manual and your own curiosity. Every mechanic is clear but never condescending. You're trusted to learn by doing, to piece together strategies through observation and experimentation. Even the progression system reinforces this mindset. Instead of simply leveling up to overpower enemies, you have to earn your upgrades by defeating mini-bosses and collecting prayer beads. Skill points let you unlock new techniques, but no ability ever replaces the need for timing and precision. No matter how many upgrades you unlock, you still have to stand toe-to-toe with each opponent and deflect every blow. It's a design philosophy rooted in mastery over stats, a clear throwback to the simplicity of retro action games, where success depended almost entirely on your execution. One of the most memorable moments comes when you finally overcome a boss that's been stonewalling you for hours. Your palms are sweaty, your heart is pounding,
And you feel that spark of pride.
that only comes when you earn a victory through relentless practice. That feeling doesn't come from cinematic cutscenes or scripted events. It comes from your own growth. From the first tentative deflects, where you barely survive an encounter, to the final duel where you counter every attack with confidence. It's a journey that mirrors the best memories of retro gaming. For all the talk about difficulty, it's not about punishing the player. It's about demanding focus and rewarding effort. Just like those old games that defined so many childhoods, this experience proves that challenge can be a gift. It creates moments you remember for years,
Victories that feel personal and hard-won.
whether it's a brutal 8-bit boss with a tiny health bar or a towering armored warrior swinging a massive blade. The satisfaction comes from the same place. It's that moment when your skills, your knowledge,
And your determination finally align. And you realize that no shortcut or cheat could.
ever replicate the pride of earning it yourself.